Good morning and welcome everyone. I wanted to elaborate on a few extra wrist stretches. We approached the topic in the table series video, but a couple extra things that I'd just like to add on top of that in case you're having issues with your wrist. So I'll include the table sequence for the wrist, and then we'll look at the wrist in downward facing dog, and we'll do some exercises to help warm the wrist up. Of course, if you're going into handstand, it's going to change the angle of the wrist. So maybe this elbow at a 45 and this forearm at a 45, that represents down dog. But as soon as you go into handstand or a wheel, you can see how the angle is changing and how you need to have space in the joint, or strength in the joint, and awareness in the joint, so that you're not jamming everything together. Okay, so let me grab one of these. For the table sequence, spread the fingers, feel the ball mounds. The middle finger points forward. It's parallel to the edge of the mat. We go circles. Circles the other way. Fingertips go to the side, thumbs go forward, circles. Circles the other way. Fingers face in, thumbs face back towards you. Wrists face out, circles. Circles the other way. Okay, come back to neutral. And then go all the way around. Thumbs face out, fingers face back to the knees. I bend the elbow a little and I sit the bum back. Inhale and exhale through the nose. Breathe. And then release. Careful, let go. Sit back, stretch out, push forward, push up. You can shake out a little here too. You can pull each finger as well. So I feel this up in the neck. I pull the finger at each joint, at each knuckle, and I feel it all the way up in the neck. Okay, now for the most intense one, at least for me, for most people I would say, is coming onto the top of the wrist. Tense the opposite fingers so you stay high, and then sit back and get the stretch over here. You can do two hands, or you can just work one at a time, whatever is more comfortable for you. Again, start straight, shoulder over hand, and then sit the bum back. Inhale and exhale through the nose. When I go two, I get onto the back of the hand, and I sit the bum back, then I wiggle the thumbs. Wiggle the pointer finger, ring finger, and then the little one at the end. Okay, again, I sit back, I stretch, I shake out. Okay, here for my down dog, if people are having trouble with their wrist, come from table, curl the toes under, and push back into down dog. Every pose you can decide where you want to focus. Sometimes I focus on the feet, sometimes I focus on the shoulder, sometimes I focus on the spine, but here I'm deciding to focus on the wrist. So now, if you look at your wrist, you see the wrist crease. And mine is pretty open. But if you feel like your wrist is jamming, then take a towel or another yoga mat and put it under, And now you can see there's less pressure on the wrist, there's less of an angle, it's a straighter line, and it's easier on the wrist to get into the pose. Okay, try that, let me know how it works. Again, you're building strength towards having the hand on the ground. You're building awareness in the wrist. And eventually you will be able to get the hand flat. But for now, work with good alignment and work safely. Spread the fingers, extend through the fingertips. Okay, good. Next up, you can do these standing or sitting. Let's do them sitting to start. Palms face out. Make fists pull down, pull. So you're working the wrist joint, but you're also working the entire line from the neck because the arms are up, right? Pull down, pull. Hard. Move the joint. Good, then out in front. Start with 10 to 20 and then work up to 50 each day. Pull, fist, hard down. Good, and then up, pull. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Push out, open, push up, open. Take your left arm, make a fist, grab onto the forearm and circle. Circle is the other way. Good. Switch arms. Fist. Circles. Circles the other way. Again, after each exercise, I'm pushing out. Notice which is your habitual grip, and then switch the grip. So whatever pinky finger's on top, switch, push, and shake out. Okay, I'm going to change the camera angle and we're going to use the wall and a set of blocks. Okay, the next one, this is the most intense because you're going to go back into downward dog, but your hands are going to be on the blocks. The block is at a 45-degree angle. Test it, make sure it's not going anywhere. I start with my fingers pointing up towards the ceiling on the blocks. Then the wrist face in, the fingers face out. Then I come around, fingers face in, wrist face out. Then I go all the way around, fingers face down, wrist face up, and you'll see me do it. Each time, come down onto your knees, and you don't have to go all the way up. You just find the appropriate stretch for your wrists in that moment. Okay, hands on blocks, push back, downward facing dog. I'm sucking the arms into the shoulders, I'm melting the chest. If I want more intensity, I lift the knees to bring more weight into the blocks. Down onto the knees, fingers face out. The heel of my hand is in the center of the block. The fingers spread wide, I push back, I melt into the chest. I lift the heels to come higher. Working into the shoulders, different perspective for the shoulders each time. Thumbs face down, fingers face in, push. Lift the heels, lift the hips, melt the chest, only if it feels good. Back down onto the knees. Shake out if you need to. Take your time. Start slowly. The first time you do the sequence, maybe only 10 seconds. Fingers down. This is super intense, so be careful. This already might be a stretch for you. Fingers down, push back. You see my chest is high because the shoulders are tight. Then I begin to work. I melt the chest down. I lower the head. I lift the heels. Push down. And there you go, release. Work slowly and work carefully. If you have any questions about the wrist, please drop them in the box below or send me an email. There needs to be space. It needs to be open. You can't grind bone to bone, right? You want to put weight in the hands and lengthen and control the space between each bone of each joint, and the wrist is no exception. Okay, be careful and go slowly with the wrist.